Hi, I'm Daniela, and this is Jocelyn. Thanks for coming back to our channel.
In this video, we're going to talk about breastfeeding multiples, co-lactating, and re-lactating.
For those of you who don't know, breastfeeding is by far the healthiest option when you can to give it to your newborn baby. It provides innate immunity from the mom, so many nutrients, and it's more easily digestible.
Not only that, but breastfed babies have lower risk for things like asthma, obesity, type 1 diabetes, and sudden infant death syndrome, or SIDS.
Regardless of all the amazing health benefits, I have always been committed to and envisioned myself exclusively breastfeeding my baby. Now that we have triplets coming, it was really hard to wrap my head around how I would exclusively breastfeed 3 babies.
Yeah, the book that we've been reading, When You're Expecting Twins, Triplets, or Quads, reported that there are studies to show it takes about 10 to 15 hours a day to feed newborn twins. And we can only imagine that it's amplified with triplets.
So with 3 babies on board, we discussed and we know that I'm definitely going to need help. That's when we came across co-lactating.
Co-lactating basically just means that Danielle and I will both be producing milk in order to feed our babies. So when this idea was posed, I was thrilled to be a part of it. I exclusively breastfed my first daughter for about 8 months until I had to go back to school and wasn't given the right accommodations, and my milk supply dried up quickly. So I was really excited to get a chance to do this again and quickly started researching and found out there are some hormones that you can use, but they're kind of hard to get in the US. So I decided it's probably a good idea to make a video to kind of break this all down for anyone who may be in a similar situation.
In our research, that's when we found the Leche League. For those of you who don't know, the Leche League is a nonprofit organization that provides information, resources, and support to anyone interested in breastfeeding.
And they're actually an international corporation, so you can find chapters worldwide. Once we found a chapter in our area, I immediately messaged them on Facebook, and we were put in contact with a member of the group who provided a lot of helpful resources. What I learned was there are multiple different protocols to induce lactation or re-lactate, and there's even natural ways to do so just with supplements, which was really exciting for me. I built up some confidence after that conversation because my body had already experienced what it was like to lactate, and maybe it would remember if I triggered it again. The downside is I haven't breastfed in 14 years, so it's going to be a tricky process to get myself to relactate.
Our resource from the Leche League was so sweet and gave us so much information about the protocols that were out there and the natural protocol that we were most interested in. She stated that dry pumping would be a part of this protocol, and doing that for about 10 minutes up to 8 to 10 times a day could really help, but also mentioned that it could take anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks or longer to start seeing any results. She also recommended taking a natural supplement that contains fenugreek, milk thistle, and fennel to help also with lactation.
I called my sister right away and asked her to borrow her pump and started right away on that dry pumping protocol with the natural supplements. After about a week, I was exhausted and in pain from pumping up to 10 minutes every few hours, but I wasn't giving up hope yet. Where there's a will, there's a way.
We also scheduled an appointment with an OBGYN and a lactation specialist so we can learn a little bit more about this process and have some more helpful resources along the way.
That's when my protocol changed a little bit. After meeting with both the OBGYN and the lactation specialist, I was given the cold hard facts that in their experience, most women who haven't relactated in this long, in my case 14 years, have a lot of difficulty relactating without some hormonal help. And even if you are able to relactate, the chances of getting a full supply are pretty low. That's when they recommended I go on a few months of birth control in order to help my body make a better milk supply.
So, if you're anything like me, your first question was probably why? And what we learned was that taking estrogen via birth control pills will mimic pregnancy, and then abruptly stopping that birth control pill can mimic childbirth. That, alongside pumping, can make your body relactate.
There are actually a few different protocols that use this similar method of introducing birth control, the most popular being the Newman Goldfarb protocols. There's 4 different protocols within Newman Goldfarb: a regular protocol, modified protocol, accelerated protocol, and a menopause protocol. And the way you decide which is right for you really depends on 2 factors: when your babies are due and if you have functioning or non-functioning ovaries.
We found a chart that helps you decide which protocol might be right for you. We'll link that in the description below.
After reviewing this chart with our lactation specialist, we decided that the accelerated protocol was best for us. This requires taking Yasmin or microgestin, different birth controls, for about 30 to 60 days, only the active pills, not the sugar pills, in company with another medication called domperidone. And once you notice your breasts changing, you can stop the birth control and continue the domperidone. This was the tricky part though.
That's because it's really hard to get domperidone in the US. If you're interested to learn more about the Newman Goldfarb protocols, we're going to leave a link, which is a great resource to learn about in depth each protocol and figure out what's right for you.
Both the OBGYN and the lactation specialist assured me that I could still get a milk supply without the domperidone, but it may not be a full supply without it. Although the Leche League was convinced that I may be able to induce lactation naturally, so I kind of had mixed feelings about the whole situation and wanted to continue trying with just the birth control even if I couldn't get the domperidone.
Me personally, I always like to go for a more natural route when possible. So I thought just adding in birth control was a happy medium between going full-blown medication and no medication at all.
I am still in the process of trying to get my hands on some domperidone because ideally it would be really helpful if we both had a full supply, but I'm not going to let that discourage me, and I'm going to just keep trying even if I don't have it. As a side note, there is an alternative to domperidone that you can get in the US pretty easily called Reglan, and I've heard it's helped many women induce and relactate. However, it does come with some side effects, including an increased chance of depression, and since I personally already struggle with this, it's something that I want to avoid, but it may be an option for you.
Even though the jury is still out on whether or not Jocelyn will be able to produce a full supply without domperidone, we are doing everything we can to ensure the babies have a great milk supply of solely breast milk for when they arrive. Unfortunately, I can't start pumping in advance because that could induce preterm labor for me. Because I'll be having a C-section, I will also need to start inducing my lactation after the babies are delivered. I'll bring my pump with me to the hospital in my bag.
This is something I didn't really think of because I had a vaginal delivery, but with a C-section, you don't have the hormone drop like you would when the baby's actually delivered vaginally. So you have to get your body caught up to speed on what actually just happened to you, basically. Because of this huge factor, I'm really hoping that I can get a milk supply in so I have some milk stored for when the babies are here.
Another important thing to remember is that when babies are born preterm and are in the NICU, sometimes they don't have the ability or the strength to suck enough to get milk at the breast. So this may take a little bit of time and practice. We learned that some NICUs do set up like a little tube alongside the nipple that they can syringe feed some of the milk in to mimic the breastfeeding, but also get the babies to learn how to suck at the breast.
There are also some instances where multiples are born so early that they're unable to be put on the breast right away. And in those cases, moms really have to be committed to pumping so they can keep their supply available for when the babies are ready.
This definitely wasn't something I ever anticipated, but I thought it was really helpful to share for other people who may be carrying multiples or having multiples. It's a good thing to prepare yourself for, especially if you didn't think of it like we did originally.
Like most things in nature, including our own bodies, there are certain things we can't control. I'm trying to stay open-minded and optimistic, but also flexible to whatever the universe throws at us. As some of you may have seen, I've posted a few shorts to document this lactation journey, and I'll continue to do so keep your eyes peeled for more updates.
For anyone who has experienced co-lactating or inducing lactation, we'd love to hear more about your story, so please share with us in the comments.
Or direct message us if that's more your jam. If the Leche League taught me anything, it's really about supporting each other through this journey, so we are definitely here to give some support for anyone who may need it.
If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe.
And don't forget to turn on the notification bell to stay up to date on all things Lesbi-Honest.
See you soon!